So we were talking about like I just want to share a story. Have I told you guys about my failed Patreon Goodwill thing I did before?
No, what? No, what? Go.
So like you were talking about getting like emails that you can't stop, and basically like
I can't stop these emails.
I can't stop these email updates. Like a couple years ago, I'm not proud of this story. I'm proud of the idea of it, but like there was a girl I went to college with. I know out here in LA, but I'm not like friends with her or anything. And she had a Patreon to sell. Sorry, not a Patreon. She had a what do you call it?
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. Thank you. Kickstarter. She had a Kickstarter to fund her first album, and she needed $10,000. And a couple things. One, you don't need $10,000 to make a song.
Was that a song or an album?
It was an album. We don't even know, honestly.
I think it was it was advertised as the $10,000 song.
The $10,000 song. Totally worth it.
You know what? I agree that you don't need $10,000 to make a song, but I want to hear a $10,000 song.
Right. So this is what it is. Like she wanted $10,000. She was even saying in the video that the most of the price for the $10,000 was to pay a producer on the track. And the producer in the video just seemed like sketchy as hell. Like the most just like, I found a guy on Craigslist and he wants $6,000, like that kind of thing. And then she also like, you know, not to be too elitist, but like, or the opposite, but she's super rich. Like her parents have like a mansion in Beverly Hills. So I'm like, I don't know if you need it as much as other people who are trying to make like, I don't know, a webcomic or whatever.
She had to buy Phil Spector's freedom from jail so that he could come out and produce this song for her.
If that was the actual thing she needed the money for, I would get it.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Phil Spector could not afford it himself.
If it was like, I need to free Adnan from Serial from jail so that I could have him on the track, I'd get it.
Yes.
So I had this, and like, so she's done this campaign, and she was going for like a bit of a Lady Gaga type vibe, but like, you know, and I looked at it as like, she's got 2 days left in her thing. She's only raised like 2,000 out of 10,000. Boy, it sure looks like this is going to fail. But hey, I haven't donated yet. I have this amazing idea to get Feel Good Karma, which is I'll donate a large amount of money that I won't ever have to pay.
Oh, I remember when this happened.
Did I tell you? Okay.
Wait, I don't know. This sounds super familiar.
Okay, this has already been on the podcast at some point. Please, viewers,
I don't think so, but it does sound a little familiar. Maybe I just know where it's going.
Well, you kind of know where it's going.
I know exactly where it's going.
Okay, she's not going to make it, and I think honestly, I was just going to get some goodwill with her. It's like I'll say I'll pledge $500 because I'm not going to have to pay it. And I sent $500 over, and I get this like. I'll be honest, for $500, a pretty short email back. I'm just like 2 paragraphs. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. Feels good.
Was it personalized or was it?
It seemed like it was personalized.
Okay.
For someone doing an act of charity, you are.
You're like,
where's my thank you?
Well, I mean, I would expect at least a little bit. I would expect I expect $100 per paragraph is what I would expect. Like,
okay, all right, yeah,
5 paragraphs. 5 paragraphs, short paragraphs.
I think Jesus, when he cured that guy with leprosy, like later on, complained to Peter. He's like, I thought that guy was gonna grovel at my feet for like maybe like 10 minutes, but he groveled for like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, there's that time that Lazarus, after he was resurrected, didn't thank Jesus and sent him a gift basket, so Jesus just made him dead again.
Yeah, he didn't grovel enough.
Yeah, he didn't do it. So I know I'm not the hero of this story, by the way.
No one's the hero of this story.
No one's the hero of this story. So like time goes on and there's like, you know, another like couple 12 to 24 hours left. And I'm telling someone, I'm bragging about this, and they're like, what a genius idea. And they go, she's got really rich parents. If she really wanted to, she could just pay for the rest of it. And then she would still get a couple $1,000s that wasn't hers. It would be silly not to do that. And I'm like, oh crap, you're right. And then almost immediately before it's done, at the last minute, a $5,000 donation from like grandma last name of hers comes in, and she makes the goal. And I'm like, shit. I don't have like a heavy gig in LA at this point, so like I need that $500.
Yep.
No matter what, $500 is a lot of money. And I have to go back and go like, I can't pay this. And I realized that on Patreon, after a thing has been funded on Kickstarter, that you can change your submission.
Yeah.
Like even after it's been funded. That's the weird part. So I go in and I edit my pledge down to like $25. Like I drop it. And she still makes her goal. She still made her goal with that. I would be surprised if they by the way, I think they would let you probably like not make the thing funded. That would probably be a thing. Like you couldn't like drop it below the goal or something.
I have a feeling if they do it afterward, it's probably before they withdraw the funds.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, I was like, I haven't destroyed her dream, but she still hit her goal. And I'm like, I hope she doesn't notice. I immediately get a message from her, like within the hour, of like, hey, I just noticed your pledge had changed. My producer wanted me to make sure I reach out to make sure that wasn't an accident or anything.
My producer.
She even said my producer, the guy who's wanting all of this money.
Not just her looking at her Kickstarter, like her producer is also like hovering around the Kickstarter.
I need all that money.
Okay, all right, it's all funded. Okay, whoa, who's this Chad guy? Whoa, what is this? 500 to 25, send him an email.
I had $475 set aside for a real cool baseline. Now we don't have that now, and so I have to just like completely eat crow and like
you lived a modern Seinfeld episode.
A modern Seinfeld. It very much is a modern Seinfeld. And I had to apologize to her. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I don't have that money. I hope this is enough. Good, God bless or whatever.
God bless.
And I shared it with a friend later who had pledged like $20. And he showed me, he got the exact same thank you message that I got for $500. So it was just the name was replaced. I'm like, well, god damn, I didn't even get like a personalized message. Anyway, that's where I thought I had like tricked the system.
I remember when that happened to you. I remember specifically, you might have told a bit of it on this podcast because I remember it was like when you had you were like struggling with the idea of having to drop back down to $25.
I was really, I wanted to just like, I guess I'll just pay it. I just didn't have that money at the time.
I'm just like really confused by this story, and I'm not gonna dissect the whole thing, but I just want to throw a couple things out there.
Yes.
One, from what you said, you clearly do not like this person. Why did you feel inclined to donate money to them?
You
looked at the project and you said, you don't need this money, but I'll give you some. And it's going to like this story is crazy.
Dom, no, it was a victim. It was a victimless crime. At first.
No, but here's the thing, Dom, is I'm not theoretically.
You were like, I'm gonna earn points with this person who I don't like.
I'll get free karma. Like I'll get feel good karma.
Oh, it's the karma.
Karma, and also just the satisfaction of a nice letter of just like, wow, you're really a hero, Chad. Like you really saved the day.
You know what, Chad? The deep undercurrent of positive and negative energy that runs throughout existence cannot tell the difference between when someone is lying to get karma and not lying. So you definitely had karma tricked. I think that $500 pledge.
You hacked karma.
I think God
went in there and changed your karma score after the fact.
I think God will be like, hey, you guys, you did donate $500 there at one point. That's on the books. I can't take that away.
Well, they're going to look at it and they're going to go, well, he tried to donate 500, but I guess something happened to him. He had to change it to 25. Let's give him the 500 karma points.
Who's to know what his intention is? Who's to know?
And well, here's the final part of it, by the way. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay. There's more. I was just going to say, we're starting a Kickstarter after this episode. I hope everyone on our Patreon is ready. It's going to be called karmahacks.com. It's our new blog.
It's a great blog.
It's going to be a great blog.
You're going to want to donate a couple $100.
Yeah, that you definitely have.
Here's the end of the tragedy. It was reminded me was, so because that Kickstarter email list of everyone who supported, this has been years ago, I still now get emails about her career, her singles. She's reinvented herself like several times as an artist in different genre. Things about shows she's doing. It's on an email list without an unsubscribe link. Like it is just I have your emails now. You're all going to get these updates all the time.
That's literally what Dom and I were discussing before.
That's why I was thinking about it. Is now I just have, and I have these. I'm like, this is a little bit annoying because it's really every minuscule update. but I kind of deserve it. I think.
I think what's gonna. You bought. That's the negative karma you bought.
Yeah, this is karma coming back.
Yes, that was the ill intent karma that you got.
Yeah.
Is you get that email list.
Anyway, yeah. So it makes perfect sense in the long run.
I just want to say God bless.
God bless
Her career?
No, just God bless.
God bless.
That was at the end of Chad's email to this person.
Threw it out there. I'm not a good person.
God bless.
God bless. I just want to say God bless.
God bless all of you. Welcome to Goosebuds.
Welcome. Let's start talking about this stupid fucking book.
Welcome to Goosebuds, everybody.
Welcome to Goosebuds.
This is a book that Patreon voted on and chose. We are out of order.
We have broken out of R.L. Stine's iron grip of order.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing as we please now. We're doing as the people please. It's a democratic process.
Mm-hmm. Before it was totalitarian, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it was something like that.
Totalitarian.
He told us we were in the penalty cage. Turns out the bars are made of old flimsy wood. We broke out of there.
This fucking penalty cage rule system.
Dom, you're revealing things. You're revealing.
No. I'm revealing things to you guys. They will. I'm setting it up. I'm planting a little tasty bud of goose. You know what I'm saying?
That's going to grow into a tree of Goosebuds.
We opened up to jumping around a little bit. We got to Jellyjam, the holy grail of Goosebuds. Why we started this whole thing, because Chad loved the book when he was a kid, for good reason. If you haven't listened to the last episode, what are you doing? You can't listen to this show out of order. I'm going to tell you, you have to go back and listen to 54 before you can listen to 55.
That's the only one.
But we opened it up. We opened up to jumping around. We opened up a poll on our Patreon for our patrons to vote on which book we were going to read next. What were the choices? I threw out Say Cheese and Die Again. What did you say, Paul?
Mine was a camp one. I think it was Ghost Camp. I wanted to continue. Yeah, I wanted to continue the camp theme because so far we have decided that every camp book has been good.
I think it's a good metric. I think Ghost Camp, I'm hoping it's back on the poll. I think it's got a misleadingly bland title. I think Ghost Camp is so generic sounding. You almost like need the subtitle to be like, yeah, but all these kids, they were murdered. Like you just need like that subtitle.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
actual kid murder in this one.
Yeah, and not to crow about my triumph so much, I did pick Beast from the East, which has been the winner.
And we read it.
And it's weird. It's definitely weird.
It's incredibly weird. Chad, did you read this one as a kid?
I did. And I actually have a strong memory of this one too. I don't remember ever. This is the book that I remember going is the least scary Goosebump book in my mind. In terms of when kids would say, I don't read Goosebump books. They're too scary. I go, nah, like Beast from the East is just like a game of tag, I guess. Like it's not scary.
I love that young Chad had like a running tally of the Goosebumps books in his head and was like, oh, don't worry, I've got you. If you don't like the scary ones, I have my knowledge of the entire oeuvre of Goosebumps. And I can give you a non-scary book.
Like a bump sommelier, I could recommend you how far you wanted to get in.
A bump sommelier.
You are that is so on brand for Chad.
Man, I was so cool yet so alone as a kid. This is like it's like a fucking Willy Wonka, not Tim Burton, like Johnny Depp book or something. I don't know.
I was really frustrated by this book. I also read this book as a kid, and but I didn't finish it. And
really?
Yes. I mean, I did this a lot when I was a kid. I would start reading books and then I'd get distracted and play a video game or something. And I remember reading this book, number one, because it has like I think the background behind the art of the actual color of the book is like a hot orange.
Yeah.
Oh.
And orange, especially like the hot orange, was like my favorite color when I was a kid.
That hot orange.
It was a hot color.
Yeah.
It was a hot color for Dom.
It's a hot color for Dom, and if you recall, why I'm scared of bees, I think that's what that, or how I turned into a bee, whatever that bee one is, the other Goosebumps book. also had a orange background, and I also read that one.
It's interesting because so for me, when I looked at a Goosebumps book, it was the color of the frame around the picture that would always draw me in. Like if
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
the original Beast from the East was a blue book, Dom, but there is
Blue?
but what you're seeing and what you're remembering is the sunset in the background, which is pivotal to the story.
Yes.
Is very, very brightly hued orange.
That Star Wars Tatooine sun.
Yes.
Hold on. I'm just gonna look this up.
There was a 2003 reprint that has an orange cover.
I think Dom read this in 2003. I think Dom's not telling us he read this in
Okay,
2003.
all right. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say that Paul is right, and
but I'm saying you're right, Dom. I'm just saying the background is very bright orange.
It did have some orange.
Yes.
It drew me in with some orange sunset.
You know those like image threads that just show how blue and orange work well together, and they're on every cover. That's what this cover is. This
is the beginning. This was the beginning of that trend.
Mm-hmm. I remember reading this book,
mm-hmm.
and in reading this book this morning for the show, I remembered why I stopped reading this book.
Okay. When was it?
And it's because, you look at the cover, it's got some like monster on it.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, cool. Somebody's going to turn into a monster. There's going to be a monster around. It's called Beast from the East. I wonder what's going to happen. So where do we start? Let's just start this.
Let's just start
this.
Kids. Yeah.
Ginger and Ginger's the older sister, and we have Pat and Nat, rhyming twin names.
Patrick and Natrick, her brothers.
her little brothers.
This story is told by Ginger. Is literally as told by Ginger.
As told by Ginger. And they're camping, and they're in the woods with their parents,
hiking with their parents.
I think Pat is playing a Game Boy. It's the typical person writing about video games who's never played video games.
There's so much. I've almost got to level 6. I got to level 7. Like you've never gotten to touch a video game. You think it's just like dots, I guess.
The introductions that RL writes, I realized while reading this one today, are so realistic to a man who has children that is annoyed by those children, and he's pouring every ounce of that annoyance into these books.
But he doesn't have kids at this point.
I remember a certain phrase, I think, about some
skateboard
writing
shirts.
in this.
Shirts.
Skateboard shirts with sayings that make no sense.
That is coming from Ginger, the girl who would be like completely immersed in that culture, but she's talking like a 45-year-old man writing a book.
You're right. All of these kids are somehow emotionally stunted, but also very mature. They're not mature. They're boring.
Anger.
They're boring kids.
They have a man anger inside of them, no matter
what. It's like R.L. Stine transforms into a little kid, but still has his adult brain, and he has to write a book about little kids, and he's like, "What, kids like this? I don't like any of this. It don't make no sense."
If there was a time in one of these books where a kid had to like order something from a deli. Oh my God! The old R.L. Stine would just come right out.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. He would be. He does that from time to time. He just starts listing stuff off, and you're like, "Damn, RL does like this thing." I'm gonna keep a keen eye for that next time.
Pay attention to it.
RL going into something with great detail. He has written about baseball a bit. I bet he likes baseball.
Baseball and comics are real big on his list.
I think there's an important detail here I want to share about this. And as we go in, I also want to call attention to you. So yeah, we are just following the family hiking, but I think the best part of this book is in the first couple chapters.
Chad, yes. I hope you're going to say the same thing as me. If you don't, I have another point to make.
A lot of pressure now, Paul. A lot of pressure.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
is that it started off like every other book where it's just describing the family, and then they're suddenly just kind of already in the middle of a hike. Yes. And it gave it like a dreamlike quality. It's probably just bad writing, but it was just suddenly like, oh, we're just in the middle of this premise and there was no lead in at all, as opposed to chapters and chapters of like, we got on the road. Boy, I was bored. Like all that stuff before they even get to the beast.
That wasn't the point I was going to make, but it was something that I liked about this book. And I think I've noticed that he's been doing that more, Chad, in the more recent books as we've gotten later into the original 62. He has stopped screwing around as much and just started getting us right to the spooks.
Which is funny because it's easier. It's easier to do.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, just cut to the chase, especially when you're on like book 60 something. It's like you don't have to set all that stuff up. You know what you're getting to.
Scholastic's already got these prints ordered. I got the book club coming up next month. I gotta write this. Like, I gotta go.
I think when he started, he was trying to Stephen King it and really build up to the horror and then drop the horror on you like halfway through. Then he realized
they made him cut the alcohol abuse that every parent
has. But he realized at some point that kids just want to see the spooky monsters. Get them to the spooky monsters. I do want to make a note. There is a weird intro where you think it's going in the direction you were saying, Chad, where you think it's going to give you lots of build up. And at the very beginning of the book, we learn about Ginger a little bit, that her parents would tell her things before she would go to sleep, and her brain would turn them into scarier things, which I really like. I understood. I fully knew where she was coming from.
Well, I read that and I thought of you, Paul.
Yes,
I was like the thing with the bed bugs and the thing with the bears. I was like, yeah, I could see that happening to Paul.
Yeah. Also not really foreshadowing in any way. Like
that's the thing, Chad. Yes, that is the thing. He gives you I mean,
the one maybe. Well,
sure.
Honestly, both kind of. So
you're right.
The father, for whatever reason, would sing a lullaby to Ginger when she was young. That was the Teddy Bear's Picnic. That old song.
Yeah.
And then I guess like they would one after another, like the mother would come in and tell her not to let the bed bugs bite, and that would freak her out. And then she would leave, and then the father would come in and sing the Teddy Bear's Picnic to her. and so these were these two details. So later that is, and we'll get to that.
So it did have some bearing on the story, but it had, but
I've never heard just the most like a respectful, like a gentleman's duel. Just like just towards a joke.
I got it.
Good wordplay, excellent wordplay.
Repost, parry, counter, like just that kind.
Yeah, but like. It did have some relation to the story, but it felt really non sequitur because, yes, Chad, it starts with this like kind of character background to give you a little bit about her. But I think, Dom, what you're saying is it does refer to plot points that happen later in the story, but it has nothing to do with her personality unless there is a subtle ending to this and maybe things aren't as they seem. So we should go further into the story.
Yeah, I do want to say I also did enjoy that he cut to the chase. However, what's so frustrating about this book is that he cuts to the chase and the chase just keeps going in a stupid fucking circle. So let's talk about it.
Let's get in there.
So they're already here in the woods, and they're just suddenly separated from their parents. Cool, dreamlike quality. You're just there. You're not really wondering it. What's so much?
Worked in Jellyjam. Got to work in the East.
Yes, absolutely.
And the kids are almost immediately discovering that this is some sort of just wacky Alice in Wonderland forest. Where they're wrapping a tree and there's like weird yellow sap from it, and there's like different colored bushes that I believe they just call cabbage at one point.
Yeah, purple cabbage.
Cabbage.
You know what that purple cabbage was? It was weed, and they smoked it and they got high, and that's what the story is. They all got high by accident.
It's actually kind of a bummer that there's not even a tiny moment where they like eat some berries beforehand, so you could just say that this is like all an illusion, or they hallucinate and they're just dying from poisoning. It's a bummer that that's not it is, but
no, that's what I think happened, and we'll talk about that at the end.
Well, yeah, there's like red moss. I think there's just different colored plants.
Things get weirder. Things get weirder and weirder as they continue deeper into this forest.
And I don't remember them really calling that much attention to it. They're like, weird. Okay. I guess I've never been outside, so I guess this is what plants are like.
Mm-hmm. They do keep saying we've never seen before. Like, oh, wow, it was like this thing we've never seen before. And it's cool. I mean, I think the cover illustration by T. Jacob Jacobs. I can't remember if there's an S at the end.
Jacobus.
But it's a good illustration of this colorful forest that RL setting up here.
It is.
And,
it is a cool cover. It's a very cool cover, I think.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool little beast guy there. And we get right into it. We get pretty immediately. They're surrounded by all this strange vegetation, and then what comes out? They start hearing some bumping. The ground is shaking, and pretty shortly a giant blue beast shows up, like this giant monster with giant teeth and claws, is walking around as they're hiding behind some cabbage.
And I want to point out, it's like multiple hiding sequences where it's like they come by, oh boy, he didn't see us. Oh, she got her. Oh no, they're coming back in. They just like kind of kept hiding 2 or 3 times in a row.
Yeah, like it happened. They may hide behind a purple cabbage bush or whatever it says 5 times.
Yeah, there's a lot of fake outs.
So something's coming. It's not a fake out though, because
not a fake out, but there's fake outs that they're going to be seen a couple of times.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not chapter ending fake outs.
No, but so this giant monster walks through, and they're like hiding, and then they're like, okay, it's gone. The giant monster walks through again. They're hiding, and they're like, okay, it's gone. Then 2 of them show up, and then they're like, oh my god, there's 2 of them. We're gonna be found. They're like sniffing. They're sniffing all around, like searching, and then they're gone. They're like, oh, okay, they're gone.
Oh, they're coming back. They're coming back and back down again.
This keeps happening, and then finally they are found.
Yes,
and the monster is swinging its claws at Ginger, and she's very scared, and she's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And the monster taps her and says, Tag, you're it.
It talks to her in English.
Isn't there some bullshit about that?
Oh wait, no, it's not. Is it in English? Oh yeah,
there's some line where it's like it's got a translator or something.
You can speak English, and she said, and the monster says, we have translators. We can speak many languages.
He starts talking about all the different like alien shit that they deal with. Like he starts using like terms and different numbers that aren't real numbers. They have weird names like Spork and Friend and all types of weird shit.
Yeah, despite speaking English, they use a lot of bloopity floppity names.
Yes.
And they also count 1 tree, whatever. They have like, I think 1 is a number that they have, and then all the other ones are wacky, made up Dr. Seuss numbers.
Yeah, Trell is the most important number. They keep using that one. So he hits her and he says, Tag, you're it. And earlier in the story, very briefly, the brothers Nat and Pat play hide and seek and a little bit of tag with Ginger. So you're led to believe that maybe these creatures heard them. Maybe.
Oh, I never thought about that. I didn't think that at all. That they like thought they were playing because of it.
That's what I thought, but that's never connected ever again in the story. Again, I think that they are all dead, and this is just a death dream that they're having.
Well, I want to call it they hit with a bunch of rules. Some of them will come up later in dumb reasons, and you'd be like, "Why did you not remember that? They told it to you very clearly."
Yes,
like you must be tagged by the east side of your body, I guess. Like,
yeah, you have.
Well,
to be...
that comes up in on page 45 of a 66-page book.
You're right.
Yeah,
it's such a late development.
I thought they said that one. No. But there's a couple other ones where like you must be over 3 feet.
Yes, Chad, you're right. There are Dom actually very early. So when he tags her, he says you're it and explains that they don't ever say they're aliens or that you're not aliens or whatever. Yeah. They don't explain what the situation is. Just that they are involved in a game of, I guess, tag with these creatures, and if they lose the game, they will be eaten by the creatures. And Chad, they lay out 3 main rules. One is that the game ends when the sun sets behind this weird willow tree, which we have no idea what it is.
Yeah, the Gullah willow.
Yes, the Gullah willow. And then the second rule, Dom, is that you must tag them from the east, because you're the beast from the east. The only way to tag them and it to count as a tag is to tag them from the east.
That's
and
so
then
stupid.
I guess I missed that rule.
Well, it's like kind of slammed in there. And then the third rule is that you have to be over 3 feet tall.
And I want to point this out that, like, this is now, there's like multiple chapters, I think, where they just kind of lay out the rules. Like, they're short chapters, but it's just like the kids are just kind of sitting down for a rule session. There's not a lot of, what the fuck are you? Oh my God. Like,
no.
they're kind
of
just
no
like,
questioning. There's
let's
no
all
questioning.
just sit and talk about it. This has clearly been a thing. All right, so explain the rules to us. Sure, we'll play this game. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, so they explain these rules, and then they're like, okay, since you're the beast from the east, and you have to tag one of us. And now we're leaving, and you have to find us. And they're 8 feet tall, so they're much faster than these children.
They are beasts born of pure muscle.
They are ripped. They are ripped and scary.
Yes.
And what are the stakes? It's like if you're it when the sun goes down, you are it and you're killed or eaten. If you don't play, you're killed or eaten. Mm-hmm. And I guess
there are also rules. You think that these rules are based off of something in the real world that is going to end up ultimately being the twist, but we'll just spoil it now. There's no twist.
No, none of these rules come into play really, other than just problems.
When a cloud randomly passes over the sky and creates shade, it's called Made in the Shade, and you get a free pass for whatever, I guess.
Yeah, like and that's what's so frustrating about this book is that we set it up and these monsters are like, all right, you're playing this game with us. Here are 3 of the rules.
Yes.
Just 3 of them.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to play the game. And just like playing a game where you don't know the rules, where it's incredibly frustrating every time someone's like, oh yeah, well, there's this additional rule.
Right.
And it's like you slept over at your friend's house and like you went and hung out with your friend's friend in his neighborhood and your friend's friend didn't like you. And so like, he's like, all right, we're going to play this game and I'm going to keep making up rules so that you keep losing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
You know
like, that's what this felt like.
This is Calvinball. This is Calvinball.
Yes, it is Calvinball. Yes.
But not as a joke. Calvinball leaned into it and
were you guys not targeted by your friends' friends in the neighborhood? Okay, am I
Dom,
alone here?
Dom, I've lived that moment. You were speaking very, very real truths there.
They just want you to leave.
Yes.
It's essentially
yeah, it's an annoyance to the point of until you'll leave.
But what's doubly annoying about this is that throughout this book, the monsters Ginger's like, aha, I have you. And the monster says, no, there's this additional rule. And then Ginger's like, what? Come on. And then, but then also the monsters keep observing her and go, you've played this game before. Like they keep saying, you've played this game before.
Yes.
But like they keep explaining rules as they come up. So it's like, make a damn choice. And this is why I stopped reading. Like I was reading this book annoyed. And I was like, this is why I stopped reading this book, because it cuts to the chase. There's these monsters and then nothing happens. And it's incredibly frustrating because it keeps going back and forth. You are good. You know these rules. Oh, here's an additional rule.
I agree. I agree with you.
And it's stupid.
I agree with you because, again, if this ending of this book like showed that they had existed in this world before, or that there was some sort of connection, and that the fact that they knew all the rules, quote unquote, and there was a reason for that, it would have been cool. But it never pays that off. It just
no.
By the way, I would like to have seen a young Dom in this book just yelling angrily at the beast. You dumb man, just tell me the rules or move on. Like just really
I'm going
frustrating.
home. I came over with my friend. He's apparently friends with you. I don't get it. I don't know why he would be friends with you.
We could be at his house playing Sega. I don't have a Sega. He does. I wanted to do that, but now we're playing your stupid game outside. Ugh.
There's 0 Nerf guns.
Just eat me already. If you're gonna eat me, just eat me. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I never had Nerf guns as a kid, and my one friend had Nerf guns, and whenever we played, I would get the Nerf bow.
Oh, terrible. What, you know what?
You have one shot. I think when the other foam arrow was like missing, so it was like it was so horrible.
Those things also broke super fast too.
I can imagine young Dom shooting his one arrow and then running scared while
getting hit with bullets.
You got one
like
hit and that's it.
Machine gun.
Running to pick up your one arrow.
Like a machine gun that you crank and like several bullets are flying out.
Dom, I imagine you half running. I can see it in my head as an adult, but I imagine you just like 3 feet shorter doing that. What young Tom didn't understand though was the bow had the greatest accuracy. You could really wail on someone if you got him with a good shot.
I guess in my memory, the arrow was always bent, because it's long nerve.
Yes,
so it would never be accurate. It was always it flies straight into the ground every time.
That's true, Chad. That occasionally the bow arrows would bend and they would be useless, but when it was straight and new, it was a deadly weapon.
I'm going to tell you now.
This was my life. Okay. Getting lit up by Nerf bullets and then going home and reading this book and having a terrible time. But yeah, it's just really frustrating, this book. I mean, how do you want to continue?
I think we can say honestly, if you guys tell me this is unfair, and that the majority of this book is just the game, right? They never find the parents. In this middle part, it is just like them fleeing, and anytime they think they have a one up, like, oh, we tagged one of them. Oh, it was because you tagged me from the west and not the east, so that was the one rule we mentioned. But it's the oh, there's free lunch squares, and there's this one that I think is particularly infuriating, where they're looking, and I think the twins have been separated at this point. Pat's been taken away.
I wanted to make note that early on, Pat is separated before these beasts even start talking to them. Pat never.
That's right.
Pat's gone for the majority of the story. He's really not. There's no point in him.
He can be a Deus Ex Pat at the end.
Yes.
And so it's Nat and Ginger. I'm sure glad we set up this twin stuff, because it's going to come into play later. Mm-hmm. Are looking in the woods, and they're pretty sure they see some beasts, and they're hidden behind a tree, and they go look behind them, and they're not there. They're hiding behind a giant rock, Chad. They're hiding behind a giant rock, but they touch the rock.
And no. They're hiding behind a giant rock. They approach the rock. The monsters are missing. Nat fingers the rock.
He fingers the rock. Yeah, he does.
Nat decides to finger a rock.
Puts his little pinky in there.
The rock cracks open. Smoke comes out of the rock.
Yeah, instantly, Nat is punished.
And it's not a rock. It's a boulder. It's huge.
It's a boulder, and Nat is punished for pursuing his sexuality, for experimenting with his sexuality.
Because it's a penalty rock, apparently.
And he's put into a penalty cage, which was, this is the joke I set up earlier.
Yes, the penalty cage. Yes,
the penalty cage. And so Nat and Ginger are separated.
Yes,
he's in timeout essentially.
Real quick, before
in the middle of him being put in timeout, Ginger tags one of the beasts and says, "Sorry, I paused the game."
Yeah,
you can just pause games. Apparently, you can just suspend them without having to say anything. You're just "Oh no, I paused it back then." I did it in my mind, and I didn't tell you, but
please read my mind.
And this doesn't count. This actually doesn't count.
Again, that is a move by a kid that hates you and is a total piece of shit kid.
Yes,
I think there's something to point out that these rules. I don't know if you guys thought where this was going to go. These rules feel like they're being made up by the beast, but it's just played oh no, that's just how it works. And I kept thinking there's gonna be a moment where one of the kids, especially Ginger, was going to be oh, I can just invent rules, I could just make something up.
That's what I thought too, but it's not like that.
It never happens. I don't know if you guys felt this, but I felt reading this book, I was this feels a lot like a Give Yourself Goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's just being made up as it happens.
Well, it's very true.
I kind of thought while reading this, I was this definitely feels like a moment where he had to bust out a book, and he was okay, it's about tag. I'll observe my kids playing tag, and they're just assholes to each other, and they just make up new rules nonstop. That's how kids play tag. That's what the book's going to be. And he just went through it and just didn't stop.
Do you think he tried to make his kids play this game? Well, no, it's called Beasts from the East. This is you have to tag from the East. You don't know where East is? Okay, well, where's the sun right now? Look at the sun.
I would love to read something that is on the Goosebumps fan wiki. There's a screen grab of something. It's a special type of cover. Did you see this? It's a special type of cover.
I sent the cover, actually, Chad, where R.L. Stein says it's based on a real game.
Okay, so I'll read this out to it. So I have not seen these on other books. I don't know what the context of this is. I wish they all had a quote. It's basically just a very back cover, like here's who's in it, starring, setting, say what, like all these different quotes.
Yep.
It's a really weird way to summarize a book. But at the very bottom it goes, the real deal, and a quote with RL that says, "The Beast from the East is based on a real hide and seek game we played when we were kids. In our game, no one was it. We all just hid until it was time to go home. It was kind of boring." R.L. Stein.
Classic RL.
I don't
Classic
know if he's
RL.
just lying now. Like, that doesn't sound real, but it does.
But that is like the most R.L. Stein quote, because R.L. Stein is so frequently like, "Oh, yes, this, but it didn't matter, whatever."
Yeah.
like I feel like so often that is what R.L. Stein is telling me.
I sent this cover in the chat of our Discord for you, Dom, because if you see it's copyright 1996 and it's an orange cover, I think this is the book that you had.
Maybe. I think I might have just been wrong, Paul. I might have just been misremembered.
I don't know. This is orange, though.
I don't remember this like
Real deal quote.
It says here this is particularly the East Coast Philly print version of the book.
Oh,
so
yeah, it does.
Possible. Yeah.
I mean, why would you say that? We all just hid until it was time to go home. It was kind of boring. Oh, so this book is based off of a boring game.
Cool. Good premise.
How interesting. Well, so something that happens later in the book is that finally Ginger is alone with one of the other monsters. I think it's Spork. I
think it's Spork.
But Ginger says, "Aha, I will outsmart them."
She does make up a rule, sort of, in a way.
So after she gets called out for not tagging from the East, she goes, "Okay, well, why don't we play a new game? A game I like to play with my brothers. It's called Freeze Frame. Real game.
That's right.
Game. And the rules of the game are you're just moving, everyone's moving and spinning, and then somebody shouts freeze frame, and then you stand still, and then if you fall over, you're out or whatever. Like whoever can stand still the longest wins.
Yep.
And so they play that game. So the thing about that game is that it makes sense. It's called freeze frame because you freeze. Beast from the East, there is no reason except for this made up rule where you have to tag the person from the East. That was just so frustrating to me that he would set up and say, "Oh yeah, here's this other game that actually works," and then, "Oh yeah, there's my game where there are no rules."
Let's play that. Let's play that instead. I think it's true that it's like at least her applying creativity to it. In a weird way, kind of felt bad for Spork because I think they mentioned Spork's like missing an eye, like imply that he's one of the weaker parts in the what do you call it?
In the food chain here.
Yeah, in the food chain. I feel like he's beaten up by the other beasts a little bit.
Oh, that he's like the butt monkey that gets beat up.
Yeah, the runt of the litter.
Yes,
the butt monkey.
Speaking of the runt, and I want to come back to this moment with Spork, but I just wanted to do a sidebar. Speaking of runt, there is a baby beast walking around.
Yes.
That is only there so that Ginger goes, "Aha, I will tag this one. You're it. You're the beast from the East." And then she realizes that the baby beast is not over 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
So the tag does not count.
I thought it was going to be, I thought that was going to be a setup where like, it's actually like Nat or Pat or somehow are under 3 feet, so they're safe or something. No, not really.
It's just for this one misdirect, and like the beast, this like baby beast is like just like kind of like dancing and happy to see her. Like it was really weird. It was a really weird moment. But anyway, back to this moment with Spork and freeze frame. She actually tricks him, does tag him from the East, and gets him, and he becomes the beast from the East.
Cool. So now the tables have turned. Now you're being hunted again.
Now something has happened, other than your brother fingering a boulder. So
we did skip over one moment where a bunch of snakes wrapped themselves around Nat and Ginger.
God.
And this felt like Chad and Dom. This felt like a moment that you and like all of us would make up during a podcast recording for Goosebumps. They tickle the snakes to get them off of them.
Well, Flag does.
Flag tickles the
main beast. He shows up and says, "Wow, you got 20 points for getting wrapped up in snakes." I forget. There's like some rhyme.
There's points, and they never explain what the fuck the points have to do with anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He comes up and says, "Snake eyes."
Yeah, that's
and then
it,
if you got bit by a snake, you get even more points. I don't fucking get it. But anyway, so he tickles the snakes at the pleas of the children, and the snakes go away.
Yes.
That also sets up another moment where Nat tries to climb a tree, and then the tree's branches start holding onto him, much like the snakes. So what does Ginger do? She starts tickling the tree, and yes. The tree drops Nat.
Everything here is ticklish.
Everything is ticklish for some reason. But anyway, back. So there's just again and again, this book is just constantly like, hey, here's some rule. There's points. I don't know. But we
can jump back to the end. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Ginger tags Spork. He's the beast from the east. Nat is tied up. She's got to run and hide until the sun sets. She meets up with Pat at some point, and together the two of them are trying to get away, not get tagged, to become the beast again.
Yes.
Right, which is maybe, I would say, maybe that should have been like the main part of the book, like when you're being hunted by the beasts.
Right.
And then at the end...
A decent amount happens when she tags him.
I guess.
After
yeah,
it.
I guess. It just feels like the majority of the book was them running and looking for beasts as opposed to being hunted. But
a lot of it is that, but there is the part where where she tags him, she gets Nat back, because she finds Pat. I'm sorry, she finds Pat.
These twins are confusing.
It is very confusing, and it's, I guess, purposeful. And they hide in a cave with quite possibly the most horrific imagery in this book, if you guys remember this.
Oh, God. Yes.
They encounter a creature that lures them into a cave with them. And the creature is a dog with a squirrel head.
the size of a... did they say the size of a greyhound?
I think so.
So it's like a large dog, or a German shepherd, I can't remember, but it's a large dog with the face of a squirrel. And it talks. It says, come hide in here. This is a hiding spot.
It's almost like a scene from like Mom and Dad Save the Universe, or like or some other like 80s weirdo movie like that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, Stay Tuned. It's like almost like a scene like that, or like Nothing But Trouble, or what is that the one?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's reference Nothing But Trouble. Yeah, that sounds right.
It's like a moment from that. Like, I was just like, they just listen and they just trust this thing, and they're like, let's just go in its cave. It's weird cave. Turns out the cave is just filled with bugs that fucking climb on them and itch them.
Yeah.
Till they're almost insane with itching.
Setting up the bed bugs.
That's the bed bugs.
I guess that's the callback. The callback.
And I think the callback of Teddy Bear Picnic would be these beasts.
The beasts,
as illustrated on the cover, slightly resembling some kind of bear.
Yes. And again, that's why I think that they all ate berries in the woods and died, because it's never resolved as to where they actually are and how they ended up here. They just experienced this thing, and then we'll get to the ending at the end, but I think that they were all dying, and these were their last dying thoughts.
Sure. I just want to call out two things about this goddamn squirrel dog. This is the point of the book where I was like, okay, for a world that should be very inventive and fun fantasy, this is just dumb. This is like that old PC game called like Impossible Creatures, where it's like, what if you put a lion on a scorpion body? And as a kid, I was like, what else you got? This is pretty basic. Not only that, but like, it's another one where when they call these things like hunting cave or hiding cave or whatever, it's in caps. Like, this is a thing that the people of this forest acknowledge as rule. It's jungle law that this is a hiding cave. And so that it's weird if that's known, that the beasts don't like know about hiding caves, or if they do, they're like, oh, it's a hiding cave. We can't look in there. The rules say, or whatever. Like,
that is the rule, because they're only allowed to use it once per game.
But how would they know if they had used it?
Wow.
Yeah, you need...
Holy shit.
How about this? I'm going to picture this. The squirrel dog, instead of being like this weird, creepy, come on into my house thing, you have him treated as like the referee. You just change all of this stuff around where there's like some sort of kind of omnipotent animal, like a bird or something that can see everything. And whenever you're breaking the rules, the bird or like dog thing just squeaks.
The squirrel dog's perfect. A squirrel with its squirrel vision and a dog with the endurance of a dog. It's perfect to be the referee.
And it just barks if you're breaking the rules at any point. Therefore, we can't break the rules or they'll catch us immediately. Like,
yes, exactly.
Instead, it's just, no, come on into my house. I'm totally not a murderer.
And they listen to it. They just implicitly trust it.
I would never touch a talking dog squirrel.
Never
no,
for it.
Hell
never
no.
trust them.
So after they get out of the cave, what happens next?
So what happens next is that the sun is about to go down. She's reunited with Pat, and then she is tagged as she's waiting for the sun to set. It's about to set. And in fact, it does set. And then she's tagged. And then she's like, "What? No, the sun is set." And then Flag comes out and he goes, "Okay, the game's over." And she goes, "No, the sun already set. The game's over." And Flag says, "Oh, well, I didn't call the game."
That's so stupid.
It was still going on until I said it was over. It was still going on.
Yep.
And then she's really mad, and they're going to eat them. They take them to a barbecue. I think they have, I forget the word for it, but they have a word for barbecue night.
I don't remember.
And they start making some juices. They start getting the barbecue going.
I don't know if they understand what barbecuing is, because they do say it's barbecuing night, but then they set a pot out and fill it with liquid and say the broth is ready.
I was picturing it like all those old Looney Tunes where Bugs Bunny's just being put in a pot by like
yada-dee.
As he's just bathing himself.
Oh, Bugs.
Oh, Bugs, you rascal.
You're funny. You're a funny guy. So they're about to be eaten, and then Pat shows up and goes, "Yeah, I got out of the penalty jail. Here I am."
He kicks the boards out.
Don't ask about it. I just got out.
Bringing Dom's reference back to full circle. Nat escapes by kicking the loose boards of their cage. Apparently not good game makers or cage makers, these creatures.
Yes.
He escapes.
He was able to escape pretty easily, and all of the beasts go, "Oh man, you guys can clone."
Yes.
And
hold on, Dom. They have a specific term that's capitalized again that we should know what it is. Classic clone is what they say.
Classic clone, which okay, I just want to talk about that. The words that he used for this. How are these beasts who are out in this fantastical jungle familiar with cloning?
Yeah.
So much so that there's a classic version of it.
As opposed to just twins or brothers or that sort of thing. It's just classic clone.
As opposed to the new Jack clone or whatever kind of new types of cloning there is. This is the classic clone.
You heard about this new clone sound you've been looking for?
Well, listen to this.
It's a thing where I just want to stop for a second and nudge. So let's say that that's a technique that's played in this game. How does having a clone actually help you?
It doesn't, and this world is such a hellscape that these creatures are spazzes. They're just spaz kids that spaz out nonstop to the point where they ruin their own lives with their spazzing, and they can't have any sort of congruous life or rules to their lives in any way. They have to obey every whim that comes into their brain.
These were the kids that didn't use a spoon to eat their Jello cup. They just squeezed it into their mouth.
Oh my God, those barbarians. Here, wait. Hot tip. If you never have a spoon, you can take the lid and you can curl it and turn it into a makeshift spoon if you need to.
Exactly. We don't have to be barbarians and squeeze a cup into our mouth. We can craft tools. That's why we evolved to be what we are.
Speaking of evolve, the beasts say we are only level 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we play during the daytime. We're only level 1. We didn't realize you guys were level 3 because they had never seen twins before. So they perceive that Nat can clone himself and double.
Yeah, a classic clone is a level 3 technique, implying there's level 3 beasts around who can do that.
But also level 2?
Level 2 guys, they just bang you. They just bang you real hard. It's real scary.
Sex bang?
That is very scary.
Yeah, it is. The level 2 guys are way worse than level 3.
Well, level 1 exists in the daytime. So at the sun is set, they're done. They disperse. And then at the end of the book, it is revealed a level 3 monster is there. And now it's their turn to play their game at night.
Yes.
Where does level 2? Where does level 2?
Level 2s have all been cut to extinction.
What can they do? Also, it's really unfortunate because it's like, oh yeah, level 3 monsters can clone themselves. So we have this great moment at the end where it's like, okay, here's a level 3 monster. Here's what you're really up against. And it's just another monster that's like, yo, okay, we're going to play the game.
Do they even describe it as different?
If they can clone themselves, like, let's see it clone itself. Let's see, like, freaking fangs grow out of its back or something. Let's see, like, something crazy and insane and scary to leave us at the end here. Instead, it's just like, okay, no, we got to play our game.
Yeah. I mean, it's implied that they're stuck in a never-ending cycle of game playing, right? I guess.
Which is why I really like the theory that they ate berries and died.
Yes, yes.
Do they even describe the level 3 beast as anything different? Like, it's just...
I don't think so.
It's not even like they're red instead of blue or whatever. It's just, that's what you're dealing with.
I'm going to pull it up. Beast from the East. Let me get this. Let me get my book.
Because I want to point out
how many bumps do you give this book, Chad?
We're going to say out of 7 bumps, this gets 3 bumps purely on that I like that it's weird. I like that it's a weird idea. And there's a version of this book that could be really scary, particularly if the kids would kind of call out that the rules are impossible and they're in a losing situation. You lean into the frustration rather than just like these kids continually thinking they have it all figured out. You play it like it's my least favorite movie of all time. You play it like Funny Games. That movie where like
that's your least favorite movie of all time?
I absolutely detest Funny Games. We'll have a rant on Camp Goosebuds about it.
We should talk about it, yeah.
But there's something about like this idea of like, oh, the killer's having this power over you, like they control the rules in the world. The viewer too, that is very like claustrophobic and threatening and scary. And you could make a scary story with this. This was just little kid tag game with bullshit rules, like Dom said.
We all just hid until it was time to go home. It was kind of boring.
Yes. In RL's words, this book was kind of boring. No, I am giving this book 6 bumps out of 7.
Wow.
Here's why. 1, gets right into it. 2,
yes.
Ambiguous ending. The kids could have been dead the whole time. I like that. That's scary. 3, guys, we all forgot they do describe what the level 3 beast is like, and let me read it to you. He crossed his furry arms over his enormous chest. He's buff. His snout flared as he stared down at them with cold marble eyes, terrifying eyes. And get this, the ultimate in the description. He opened his lips and growled, exposing his long fang. He only has one fang in the center of his mouth. One giant, terrifying fang. That's horrifying imagery. I love it. 6 out of 7 bumps.
That's very fair.
Okay. Hey, you're entitled to your own bumps.
Dom.
Scary.
I'm also going to give it 3.
3
out of 7 bumps. I do like the weirdness. I like that it cut to the chase. Unfortunately, there was nothing else there.
I want to point out that the one fang I actually thought was cute, not terrifying.
Yeah, you're right. It is pretty much a cute thing, not a scary thing.
Until you get impaled.
Yeah. Well, yeah, until it just sucks right down on your dick. Can I pitch? Can I pitch something?
Let's hear it.
Just to raise the stakes a little bit. I thought it was going to go this way. The very beginning, when the kids go into the forest, just stretch out the time a little bit. Have it be that the sun is setting then, and have them witness like one of the creatures that is it be murdered. Like do that thing from Galaxy Quest where they're like watching the little alien babies.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, that one's weak, and then they all eat it. Like. Do that where they're watching as one beast comes in the middle and then the other beasts just destroy him. So now
maybe that's what the baby beast was for, but then Scholastic was like, whoa, RL, you can't have things happen in your books.
maybe, okay, I got an idea to make Scholastic approve it. Instead of killing it, you see one weak one, they tickle it until it can't stop laughing and it goes crazy laughing, and they pull it off into the woods to put it out of its misery. We can assume from its tickle frenzy, its laughing frenzy that it's in right now.
Yes, I like that. I got one more pitch.
Okay,
have it be that midway through you still have like Pat or Nat, whichever one gets separated. Pat gets separated early on, doesn't interact with the beast that much. They eat Nat, like they just. Nat gets taken, right? All right. So now, like, oh god, have Nat get he either violates a rule or just say that there's multiple days of the game and he loses one of them. So now there's like real stakes and things have happened to the kids. Because why can't these kids goddamn die? You know what? Let them die. Let Nat die. And then at the end of it, it looks like Ginger's about to get eaten because she's about to lose. and then the other twin shows like Pat. And it's, you can just do a different version of this, like, oh, we didn't know you could clone. It's like, oh, we didn't know your brother was a god,
an immortal, yes,
an immortal, or a classic immortal move. And then they all like
insane immortal,
and they all worship. Immortal. Yeah, they all worship Pat, and you can still do that fucking joke where it's like, well, we're level 1, so we worship them. Level 3s don't believe in God, or then whatever, and then that's the do. But just something add some stakes to it. Also, let's eat some kids. God damn it!
Here's my fix.
Okay.
That Ginger gets away with Nat and Pat, and they find their parents, and their parents are like, "Oh my god, where were you guys? We were missing you." And then like the mother smells Ginger. She's in hugging her. She gets a whiff of something sour, and she goes, "Are you the beast from the east?" She's like, "What, Mom? Wait, how do you know that? What is that?" And she goes, "I'm sorry, sweetheart. You have to stay here."
And then
Nat and Pat and the parents pack up and leave her in the woods.
I was gonna say they start to pack their stuff up, but she tries to go with them, and they throw rocks at her until she leaves in the woods, and they continually throw rocks at her until she cries and walks away.
They stone her to death like in the lottery.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that the parents took them there to get rid of the kids? This is like, we don't want our kids anymore.
That's more interesting. I like that.
Yeah,
I'm liking all these ideas.
We should write some books.
Yeah,
we should start our own Goosebumps reboot.
Yeah,
what do we call it? Oh yeah, Goose Pimples? We were gonna call it. Somebody said that.
Oh, did we have a name for it?
Goose Pimples. Well, Goose Pimples
Goose Pimples is just the other word for Goosebumps.
Goose Pimples has got me a little bit worried about. It just feels gross. It just feels so gross.
I was gonna say, if we call it Goose Pimples, it's a very like Mad Magazine style send up where it's real gross. At the same, it's like making fun of it, but it's also, this is just gross, right?
Can I pitch Goose Rash?
Okay,
Goose Rash. All right, I'm listening.
Sounds bad.
How about this one? How about Fear P?
You can't control, but just kind of eeps out a little bit.
Reader beware, you gonna piss your pants.
Another idea, we could have a spin-off series from Fear P called Trickle Dick.
Trickle Dick.
That'll be for the collection of short stories from
Can
Fear
I
P.
just take this moment to tell our viewers, our listeners,
yes,
that it's never too late to start doing Kegel exercises.
So you can avoid that trickle dick.
Yeah, men and women alike. It's good to keep those muscles going. And you never know, you might get scared. You might be in a forest where, like, if you piss right now, the monster's going to smell your piss.
That could be one of the rules. You pee your pants, you get stuck in the ants, and they throw you into an anthill.
Just right now, while you're listening to the podcast, right now, just do it. Just do it. Guys, you want to do a Kegel with me on the air?
I'm Kegling right now. I'm Kegling.
I wish to.
Are you flexing your wiener right now, Tom?
I wish this was I wish this was in the book. Kegel. I think that's pretty much it for the book. What do you guys say?
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm glad we read it. It has a vivid memory in my mind. I thought it was scarier. I thought it was going to be scarier than it was.
Yeah, not a scary book, but I would say it's not the worst Goosebumps we've read.
There's way worse. There's way worse. Kids doing nothing and just getting like misled by. I don't know. Is there a fake death? Is there a single time in this book that a kid pretends to die?
No fake deaths. No really bad fake outs.
Nice.
She says in the end of the first chapter or the second chapter, little did our parents know that we would be lost with little to no way to like escape or whatever. She says that, and it's not fake. I was like, okay, they're gonna end up getting lost, and it's gonna fake me out that they're lost in the woods. No. It actually happens. It pays off. So I would argue that this is RL following his instincts properly, and he gets one of the better books of the series out in this form.
It's at least if all of these books were this level of creative. I know that's a weird word I want to throw at this. This series would be better overall, even if they're still this bad.
Yeah. This book does showcase a growth in storytelling.
Yes,
in terms of. Not meandering. Although it tends to meander. It still finds
it does. I would also say that if you guys see the French cover,
Oh my god, it's horrific.
Way more terrifying. I'm putting this in our Discord for viewers.
Oh, it's scary.
It's a little bit more like he's got like a penis head. Not to always be talking about that kind of stuff, but
Hey, look at his tickling claws.
He's got a little tickle. That's one where I wouldn't want this guy to get me. I wouldn't want him to get on me or touch me in any way.
No, this must be the same artist of the other one. The French artist is pretty good. I just want to say that.
Yeah, we should find him.
I love Tim Jacobus, but the French artist Tim Jacobus has cool 90s style, and they're always cool. They're always really like intriguing looking, but the French artist had some real horrific imagery going on in their head.
He has that open sexuality of the French that allows for more terrifying monsters.
Chad, I love that you find something sexual about that creature.
You don't think that he has a phallic head? That's a big phallic dick.
Phallic. He's a very phallic.
That is a veiny, as a big veiny neck leading up to a phallic head. That is a penis monster of anything.
Chad, I love it. I fucking love it.
But before we go, I do want to say thank you to all of our wonderful listeners, but especially to our wonderful listeners who answered the call. We are getting so close to 500 reviews on iTunes. We are almost there. We were 27 away, I think, when we recorded last, when I put out the call. I think we are maybe 10 away from 500. We got so many reviews in, and we are going to read a couple right now. I'm going to read one. I'm going to read one that I think is a little... the title of it, I'm not into. I'm not too into the title. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to say this title. I'm going to say that it is titled Proud Boys. I do not agree with that. I would say it does not describe us in any way.
Dom, I think there's a missing comma. It's supposed to say proud comma
boys.
I'm proud of boys.
Oh,
yes,
he's proud of us. They're proud of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is by Rosebridge, 5 stars. They say, I will never stop loving Chad, Dom, Paul, dissect the goofy horror of L.R.L. Stein's books. I hope they can get some guest appear on the show in the future. This is a must-listen podcast if you like comedy and Goosebumps. Welcome, future Goose Buddies.
I love that.
You know, we have a few guests that we've been wanting to get on the show. Mm-hmm. We got to get them on here. We got to do it.
We've been focused down on just making new episodes. We need to get the guests going.
Yeah, and if there's anyone you guys want to hear on the show that would be awkward for us to invite, please let us know or tweet at us or that sort of thing.
A great way to do it.
Guest bumps.
Guest bumps.
Yes. Hashtag guest bumps, and definitely tag both of us in the post so that we can be introduced to each other.
Yes.
And you can tag us at Goosebuds Pod, and then you can email us at goosebumps@gmail.com,
yes.
right? Goosebuds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Goosebumps at Gmail. That might go to RL.
Yeah, he might have that. He might have that wording. Goosebuds and Goosebuds Pod on Twitter.
That one was by Rosebridge. I have a review by Bumped in Boston. It's a 5-star review, and they say, lost my dad to the garum, but it was worth it. Goosebumps books are a fond memory from my childhood, and listening to this podcast is a great way to revisit stories that I haven't thought about in a good 20-something years. Paul, Chad, and Dom are fun to listen to, both for the book review and their hilarious side tangents. Speaking of which, I mentioned this show to my dad, and like a week later, caught him writing a letter to the garum. I mentioned that the garum isn't real, and he only responded by glaring at me with tears in his eyes. We've been unable to make eye contact since, but it's a fair price for my favorite podcast. Let that slink in.
That's pretty great.
That's amazing.
So sorry. So I already forgot about the monster we created. So sorry for your family. I have a review by 206 North that says, phenomenal, 5 stars. This podcast is the absolute best. The guys are hilarious and have a nice balance at actually talking about the books and riffing with each other. Chad wears 34-32, by the way, and darker blue jeans.
Was he right?
He is wrong. Unfortunately.
Wrong.
The challenge is still out there. You get one of our jean sizes perfect, right? You get a pair of our jeans.
You will get a swatch of our jeans.
Swatch of jeans. I love that this has been happening. I've seen quite quite a number of the reviews have had our gene sizes in it, and I don't think anyone has gotten it right yet.
We'll see. We have more reviews to read. Never too fair to take a shot. We will say,
guys, I did upload a video on my Twitter and my Instagram of me shooting a basketball.
Oh no!
Yesterday.
Oh no!
If you watch that, you might be able to kind of start to guess what my size is.
I think people are going to guess our waist size correctly. I think they don't have the scale of us to figure out the height, because that 30.
I'm
we're
giving
pretty
skill.
lanky.
Hey, I'm giving skill. I'm putting up boards. Okay, in this clip, you got to check it out.
That's true.
I did this clip like we were playing around on the basketball court, and I was like, oh, take a slow motion video of me now, because I was taking slow motion videos of my friends. So I was like, take one of me, and I just did this, and I shot it, and it went in, and I was like, oh man, that was good. That felt really good. That probably looks pretty good. And then I watched the video and I was like, what I shot like that? Like, I don't remember shooting like that.
Dude, but it was a great shot, man. It was great.
It went great.
This is why I don't put my butt on
I'm
any video.
I'm not gonna say what they got wrong on the size though, but I do think. Well, I mean, I guess I made it obvious that the height was wrong for Chad. I think people were underestimating your height there, Chad.
I think I don't want to tell them if they're warm or cold on any of these yet, because I think the game is still afoot. The
True.
Beast from the East game is still going.
I revealed some hints towards Chad and your gene size there, but I think that I truly believe that the height is where people are going to be the most tripped up.
We're all lanky boys. I'm just going to say that. We're all lanky boys. Those are our iTunes reviews. If you also want to support the show besides leaving us a review, which we greatly appreciate, you can support the show on Patreon and get access to bonus content. We do a side format called Camp Goosebuds, which is us just like riffing and getting even weirder for whole hours at a time.
You get one of those a month.
Get at least one of those a month. You can vote on which books we read. We have an amazing Discord with really awesome people. It's a really solid way, and every dollar counts and helps us out a ton. You can go to patreon.com/goosebuds. We really, really appreciate your guys' love and support. I think that's
Thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts.
Yes.
I think that's it. Our thanks is the last thing we will give you before we unleash you into the world of the level 3 beast. Good luck.
Good luck to you. Classic clone, beware of it. Good luck to you.
God, I wish I had a clone. This episode of Goosebuds is brought to you by our wonderful Patreon supporters. They include these amazing people. Kale Clinton.
Super Meowrio Brothers 2 Doki Doki Meowmers in Japan.
Hollis Hornby.
Stefan Jive Turkey Kuwabara.
Fred Atkins.
Nathan Dolezal.
David Cron.
Chris Birch.
Dappio.
Mickey C.
Michael McDowell.
Clayton C.
Kyla Tharp.
Buddy Morrill.
Mike Lanteri.
Nick Hinkle.
Joshua P. Robertson. What do you think the P stands for? I think it stands for power. Discussion over.
Paul. It stands for Paul.
Paul. Powerful Pauls. Cameron Murphy Audio.
Daniel Callejas.
Jim Greaves.
John Luke.
Jared Mason.
Martin A. Macias.
Zankeef.
Matt Sadler.
Natu Pearl Henderson.
Joshua Lopez.
The Rupel Productions.
Jonas or Jonas Blotterman.
Let us know.
Yubs.
Christopher Boyce.
Afshin Modeleb.
Mickle Hearts Corn.
Danky McStanky.
Bean Father Spookman.
Jennifer Britton.
Carly Sarnowski.
Stephen Ghost Kisser Daniels.
Victor.
Brandon Rowdenbush.
Aaron T. Strunk.
No cute name, just the Mantis, baby.
John Jimco.
Heath Robertson.
Turtlemancer.
Chris Culver.
Sleepy Boy 69.
Joe, remember to save early and often. Scott, thanks for the good advice, Joe.
Very true. Paul Grasso.
Walter Frazier.
Brian Wells.
Taylor Dirks.
The Dragon Llama.
Zenticles.
Drew Applegate.
Michael Knight.
John Keating.
Kramer.
Aaron, watching you sleep damn cold.
He got you. He got
He
you.
got me. He fucking got me. He fucking got me.
Alistair Perez.
Stealth Bates.
Trader Joe's. Please make your parking lots not horrible. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Agreed.
fucking for
Agreed.
real.
Preach it.
Scott Colopy.
Vincent Modica.
Patrick Rentals.
Luke Noodles.
Third Sergio.
Slumlord Onion.
Zambambino.
Jason Crooker.
Connor Church.
Miguel Pardo.
Tom.
David Lee Backbone, a.k.a. DL Spine.
Still like that one.
Just a pretty good dog overall.
Christina Doling.
Clay Castle.
Jake Young.
Axel Rock.
Cal.
Shifty Swamps.
Cody Redfield.
Matt Batchelor.
Randy Hernandez.
Trendy Moron.
Tyler Penner.
Divaldi.
Maddie.
Poyo Boyo.
Ishak Arafin.
Matthew Reiger.
Ryan Melfi.
Heidi Shanks.
Gabe Chavez in the Patreon credits. I added that second part.
Reinfected.
Cougar Qualkin Capoaman.
Hector Alberto Riviera Ortiz.
I'm too lazy to come up with a clever name, so fuck it. Well, you did.
Oh, you did it. Cameron McLean.
Jack Frazee. He's crazy.
Crazy. Alan Sailor.
Nathan Remick.
Kyle Billings.
Sam Z Hash.
James Roy.
Mikey Jello.
Chosen One.
Gregory D. Warren at your service.
Jin K.
Bradford Coulter.
Jonas or Jonas Ingman. We also don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. Neither does Rich Hillborn. Someone help him.
I think Ethan Obama is also confused.
I would imagine.
Here's the thing though. Aiden Deese or Aiden Dice doesn't know.
Aiden knows.
Aiden knows.
We don't know. Dylan Vaughn, he don't know.
Toothless Barry the Whistler Bostowitz.
Dan Henshaw.
Reed Stubendike.
Joshua Jacobowitz.
Andrew Sheriff.
Justin Wagman.
Bex Moss. Hands off his moss.
Joey Evans.
Matthew Literal.
Cree Bricky.
Nick V.
Big Bo on the beat.
They took my thumbs.
You typed pretty well. Cardboard Walk.
The John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation.
This one was meant for me. Tommy, the breakfast must flowy hoey.
Oh, yeah.
Goblin Library.
Eric LeBaron.
Carewise Gamgee.
Rug.
Andre Villanueva.
Up and Champ.
Cameron Hansen.
Alicia Grafe.
Solazo.
Dang, I need to go get some Solazo.
Sprinkle on my burrito. Swaggy YOLO Squire. The swaggiest squire in the YOLO Shire. Damn.
Nice job, Chad.
I like that.
Nicely delivered.
Nice job, Swaggy.
Get slinked B word.
All right, we're not saying it this week. James Hudson.
Anthony Kuwabara.
Malicious.
Oh, gotta get some malicious to go with my Solazo. Carl.
Think I could get a side of malicious?
Get a little
It's malicious.
I
It
wanna
is
get-
malicious.
Some chicken malicious.
Can we not record these before dinner? This is really hard.
Sorry. Sorry, Chad. Carl Klein the Sasser.
Senpai Gods!
Senpai gods.
My
Lee
gods!
Wood.
Rob Graham.
Yanni Markovina.
Hugh Bolin.
Jake H.
Frank V.
Generally depressing.
Elusive Koala. I'm sorry, but the crazy Green Lantern face that is elusive.
Yeah, that is a thumbnail. He is upset.
That's good.
Etona Moore.
Jessica Zybol.
Paul's Christmas sock. I don't know what that's in
Oh,
reference
that's
to.
no, not at all. No idea whatsoever. Blake Alvarez.
Samuel Lowell Jackson.
Nice. Christian Van Skeever.
Yeah.
and Pallet Town Champ. Thank you all for your wonderful, beautiful support.
and we can give some special highs to Christian Yaya and Pallet Town Champ for their first Patreon patron name reads.
Congrats!
Yeah,
Welcome.
you in the club. You're cool now.
Try to get to the top of the list. Those people have been around forever.
Yeah, you'll have to kill them. In a Goosebumps way. Okay, goodbye.
All right, bye. Bye.